Hey, what up, what up, what up, beautiful, 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 beautiful kings and queens. How y'all doing? Oh man, it's a beautiful day out here, sunny LA, so I decided to go ahead and do the live on the patio, soak up the sun, feel my Lord putting his energy down on me. But yeah, this video that I'm doing, this is the Bible decoded. So the reason why I do these type of videos is just because when I was younger, I never had a real firm grasp of the Bible, the understanding the Bible, and what it meant in life and things like that. So even when I would hear Bible stories and stuff like that, I would hear the stories and then I would be like, oh, that's a cool story. I would hear the stories basically like they was fictional, stories, like it was a storybook basically. So now that I have more knowledge, I got more wisdom gifted to me by the Lord, then I can come here and I can decode these messages for anybody that has gone through their whole life and never really knew the symbolism behind this type of stuff. So if you don't know, the Bible is actually a book of psychology. So it's debatable whether or not every story in the Bible actually really took place. That's debatable. Whoever can believe whatever they want, but at the end of the day, the book was written, and the concepts and everything around the Bible is geared towards psychology and teaching people how to lead lives that will actually let them have a prosperous life. So in reality, if you live according to the Bible, then you will have a blessed, prosperous life. And this is true. So let's talk about why Lot's wife, I think her name was Sarah. I can't remember Lot's wife name, but I think that was Abraham's wife name. But Lot is actually Abraham's nephew, and we're gonna talk about the story of why Lot's wife was turned into a pillar of salt. So if you're not too familiar with the story about Sodom and Gomorrah, Sodom and Gomorrah was in Genesis of the Bible it was just a real wicked place. A lot of sexual immorality and stuff like that was going on. A lot of weird stuff was just going on in Sodom and Gomorrah, and a lot of people was getting terrorized because of all of the the sexual immorality and stuff like that was going on, and a lot of people was crying out to the Lord for help. So the Lord sent two angels to Lot, basically to see what was going on and see what needed to be done about the situation. When the angels arrived at Lot's place, as soon as they got there and then they got inside, then it was a group of people that surrounded around the house, and basically they was screaming, at the house. They was like, hey, who are those? Who are those men that just showed up? The men were the angels. So they was talking about the angels, and they were like, who are those men that showed up and stuff like that? And then Lot was just basically they was telling them, send the men out here so we could have sex with them, so we can sodomize them basically. So, and if you not familiar, that's where the word sodomize comes from, Sodom and Gomorrah. So basically they wanted them to come out so they could rape them basically. So that wasn't gonna happen. So the angels they blinded them, and then they was like, yo, nah, you got to get your family, because we about to destroy this place. Because the Lord basically was saying, if he could find 10 righteous men in the city of Sodom and Gomorrah, then he would save the place. But clearly he did not find 10 righteous men. So that's why Sodom and Gomorrah ended up getting destroyed. But before it could get destroyed, Lot and his daughters and his wife, they fled. They got up out of there. It was like, nah, they got to get up out of there. The angels led them out. And on the way out, the instructions were, do not look back. The place is getting destroyed. Everything is happening. Do not look back. So Lot's wife, she disobeyed, and then she looked back, and she was turned into a pillar of salt. Now, the actual meaning behind her being turned into a pillar of salt, you can think about it in a kind of funny way, was that she was salty. Like it's very funny, the story, how the stories in the Bible and everything come together a lot of times. It's kind of like some humor around it. So basically, she was salty. Now, this hints to bitterness. So the reason why she was bitter is because she didn't really want to leave. She was still attached to a wicked place. So even though she was told not to look back, she still looked back because she was bitter. She was turned into a pillar of salt. So the meaning behind all of this is that we have to leave our past behind. And the reason why we go through a lot of suffering in life is just because we're always looking back on the past. Like, we're always thinking about things in the past that we liked or that we missed or something like that. And then the fact that we keep looking back on the past, it makes us turn bitter. And then that bitterness we carry in our heart, and then we walk around and we do wicked things because of the bitterness that we hold, and we don't realize it. So, it changes our actions. It changes how we feel. It changes the things that we do in life, just because we don't realize that we're carrying this bitterness, because we keep going back to the past and we keep thinking on the past. We keep, going back to people from the past that aren't really good for us. So the whole meaning behind the story with Sodom and Gomorrah and Lot's wife being turned into a pillar of salt is that when we are in Christ, like once we have reached Christ, we have to leave everything else behind. We can't take people with us that are still in wickedness, that are still in they lower vibrations, that are still, practicing immoral stuff, that's still being negative. People that are trying to attack you because you're going up in consciousness and stuff like that. You can't bring those people with you, just for the simple fact that you are not going to be able to avoid carrying bitterness, because you're gonna think about those people. Like, even if you don't bring them with you physically, and you just keep thinking about these people, you keep harkening on these people, then you're gonna be carrying that bitterness, and that's gonna stop you from really having your connection with Christ, because you are still gonna hold that wickedness in your heart. Like, you're gonna hold revenge in your heart, and you're gonna take that out on other people, and you just gonna hold it in your consciousness, and it's gonna keep your consciousness low. It's gonna stop your consciousness from elevating, and getting closer to Christ. So that's the basis of this whole video. Is like, anybody that wants to get closer to Christ, that wants to really be within Christ and really just find their purpose and live out their purpose the way that the Lord really wants us to live it out here on this earth, then you got to leave the past behind. You got to leave behind any toxicity. Anybody that is in your life, it does not matter who they are, you have to leave them behind. If they are toxic even a little bit, then you have to leave them behind. It don't matter if it's your mother, if it's your brother, if it's your sister. It don't matter who it is. You have to leave them behind. And when you leave them behind, do not look back, because every time you look back, you're gonna harbor that bitterness. And when you start to elevate in Christ, then you're gonna start to realize that every time you think about something from the past, then it brings your consciousness down. It makes you feel low. It makes you feel lower and lower. So all of this stuff is weighing you down, and it's stopping you from really being able to elevate and ascend and be closer to Christ, be closer to the Lord. So whenever you in those type of situations and stuff like that, leave those people behind. Don't try to bring people with you. Don't try to give them your positive energy and be like, hey, I'm this positive person. I already know once I come around with my positive energy, they're going to want to, be just like me, because that's not the case. Now, majority of the times, those people are really going to want to attack you because they don't want. A lot of times, those people are going to want to attack you. So, and you're going to feel it. And it's going to be very subtle, because, the devil, he seeks to steal, kill, and destroy. But he can't do it outrightly, because then it'll be obvious to you. And then, of course, you won't mess with those people no more. So he has to be very sneaky about the way that he intends to deceive you. And, people a lot of times don't even know what they're doing. They don't even know really that they issuing an attack on you if they not really a conscious person. So they could be issuing an attack on you just sent from the devil, and they might not even know it, just because they just think they're going through everyday life, and because they own a lower vibration. So they don't have the ability to say, oh yeah, I'm going after this person because this person is elevating, and I don't like the fact that this person is elevating. Is a majority of the time it's going to be completely unconscious to them, because this stuff happens out of your subconscious mind. The devil is your subconscious mind. There's negativity in your subconscious mind. So when these people do these things, they don't always really even know what they're doing. Some people, they make a pact with the devil and say, hey, okay, I'm gonna come in agreement with you, and we gonna work together to bring this person down. And other people, they really just being themselves. They just really being the way that they know to be, just from mental programming, conditioning, and things like that. Stuff from the media. Because if you realize, the media and everything like that, it really conditions us to really be at a low state, so it can profit off of us. The news and things like that. Why do you think the news, it only shows negative events? Like you very rarely see positive events go on the news. And then if you see that one positive story, it's going to be that one positive story, and then everything else is just going to be chaos. So, and this is conditioning your mind basically to desensitize you to this type of stuff. And everything that you consume, it goes into your consciousness. So all of those negative stories and things like that, it goes into your consciousness, and you hold on to that stuff. You hold that negativity. So your best bet, if you want to really ascend in consciousness, is to leave that behind too. Leave behind TV and stuff like that, things that are putting negative images in your mind. Because it's all weighing you down in consciousness. And definitely leave behind sexual immorality, because that is one of the major things that will really hold you down in consciousness. If you having sex with a lot of people and you practicing all of these different type of sexual activities, there is no way that you really gonna be able to elevate in consciousness, because you're practicing sexual immorality. And that's the exact reason that Sodom and Gomorrah was destroyed. So just know that if you really want to go up, if you really want to connect with the Lord, then you have to lead a life of purity. You have to lead a life of positivity, and you have to really seek the Lord, and you have to seek to do good onto other people. If you have negative intentions in your heart, then that's the bitterness. That's the bitterness that you carry in, because that's making you hold that negativity in your heart and in your consciousness. So you got to really you pray to the Lord, stay prayed up. Just seek the Lord, ask for direction, and let him know that you want to change. You want to live a life of positivity. You want to lead a life of purity. Be a pure person, because that's who the Lord really wants us to be. He wants us to really look to him. Go inward when we dealing with problems, and not look to the outward. Not look to TV when we want to just pass the time or whatever, because that time we could have been using to get some information in us that could really help us on our purpose and on our walk with Christ. So, you got to really pay attention to what you around, and what type of things you let into your consciousness, because everything that you encounter, it goes into your consciousness. So you got to really take good care of yourself. You got to take good care of your surroundings, and you got to make sure you keeping positive people around you, and you got to make sure you practicing, positive practices, and not doing things that are going to keep your consciousness low. So like I was saying, same reason why Sodom and Gomorrah was destroyed, sexual immorality. That's one of the biggest reasons that majority of people in this society today cannot ascend in consciousness, because we are too over-sexualized. And again, that comes down to the media showing us all of these different sexual images and stuff like that, programming us to be overly sexualized. So you got to really just train your mind to not pay attention to that type of stuff, because where you pay your attention, that's where your consciousness is going. The more attention you put on it, the more it's going into your consciousness. So just don't pay attention to that type of stuff. Stop watching things that are, sexually immoral and stuff like that. And definitely stop practicing sexual immorality, like sleeping with multiple people and stuff like that, and just spreading your energy in all of these different places, because you're not going to be able to ascend in no type of way. So, definitely, if you got any questions or anything like that, drop them. Let's have a conversation about this. What you think about the conversation? What do y'all think about Sodom and Gomorrah? What y'all know about it? Because to me, when I read the Bible and I read the story of Sodom and Gomorrah, I was like my mouth was wide. I was just like, dang, these dudes really surrounded the house to try to rape the angels, like for real. And all they did was just show up, and they showed up to a mob of people trying to sodomize them. Like, that is ridiculous. Like, you got to think about what kind of immorality, like what kind of consciousness was going on at this type of time for two, angelic beings to show up, and then a mob of people to just crowd around and be like, yeah, send them out here. We about to rape them. Like, what? Nah, so you got to know the Lord was like, nah, I ain't having this. The Lord destroyed that whole place and said, if I find 10 righteous men, then I will save the place. But if I don't find 10 righteous men, oh no, that place getting destroyed. He didn't find 10 righteous men, destroyed that place, got the people out that he knew was righteous, which was Lot and his family. But Lot's wife, she was still addicted to whatever was going on. She knew that she was gonna miss it. She looked back and she was turned into a pillar of salt. The reason why is because she was salty. If you want to think about it in a humorous way, she was salty. She was salty that she was leaving, and she had bitterness. She was carrying bitterness with her that caused her to look back and be turned into a pillar of salt. So the same is with us. If we look back on our past and the negative things that we've experienced in our past, that's gonna hold us to that bitterness. When we look at our past, we have to look at it for understanding and go to the Lord and seek understanding about it. But we can't look at it and then just hearken on it and just dwell on it and hold that in our consciousness, because that's really gonna keep us low, because we have that bitterness. And we cannot ascend in consciousness with that bitterness in our heart and in our consciousness. So anybody that's looking to go up in consciousness, just make sure you pray to the Lord, stay prayed up, go to the Lord, seek guidance, and he will guide you in the right direction as far as like what changes that you need to make in your life. And also study the Bible, because the Bible is a psychological book. A lot of people read it and think that it's just like a story book, like I used to. Just be like, oh yeah, these are some cool stories or whatever, but what do that have to do with me? But the Bible is actually about you. Like, anybody that reads the Bible is actually about you and your psychology. So if you think about it like with your spiritual eyes and ears, and you think about it, psychologically, then it makes a lot more sense, because I would have never made any type of sense out of the story of Sodom and Gomorrah if I hadn't, gained spiritual knowledge and psychological knowledge and things like that. I would have read that story and just been like, this sounds like a fictional story. She was turned into a pillar of salt. Like, what kind of junk is that? But there is actual proof that in reality she was turned into a pillar of salt. So that's like, whether or not you believe that she truly was turned into a pillar of salt, that's debatable, because there is actually proof. And the salt pillar that she was turned into, I think part of that pillar still exists to this day. So you could do your research and things like that, and like on the area where it happened, and there is actually a pillar in the place where she supposedly was turned into a pillar of salt. So whoever got something to say about the story of Sodom and Gomorrah, drop that on there, because the story it was shocking to me, but now I look back on it and I'm like humorous about it, just because it was like, dang, she was really like basically destroyed because she was salty. But that's really what it does to us when we carry that bitterness. It destroys us, it kills us. So because we walk around and we start issuing out attacks on other people just because of that bitterness that we have in our heart. And and it makes it very easy for the enemy, Satan, the devil, whoever you want to call him, to get up in us and use us as a pawn so that we can attack other people. And definitely you don't want to be in that position, because how is the Lord gonna bless you if you attacking his people? Like you working with the enemy. So whether knowingly or unknowingly, you definitely don't want that to be happening. So definitely lead a life of morality, no sexual immorality, sleeping with all type of different people and stuff like that, because all of that type of stuff is gonna really hold down your consciousness. And that's right at the beginning. That's Genesis. So you already know, if the Bible starts off with that, then it's trying to let you know something like, hey, this type of behavior is really going to keep you doomed, to a low consciousness in the life of negativity. And what we hold in our mind, we project it out like a projection, through our eyes. Like our outer world is simply just a projection of what goes on in our head. So if we living in poverty and stuff like that, that's because we have poverty in our mind. We thinking poverty thoughts. So it really comes down to training your mind to think about only what you want in life and the direction that you're trying to go in life. If you thinking about anything else other than what you want in life, what the Lord, in the direction that the Lord is trying to lead you in life, then you letting in noise, and you creating room for the enemy, the devil, Satan, whoever you want to call him, to get into you and your consciousness, and then start to use you, as a member of his army and to do his kingdom. And you definitely don't want to be used by Satan, because Satan destroys everybody. And like the devil destroys everybody because it's lower vibrations. Lower vibrations are always going to destroy you. It's no way around it. And when you access higher vibrations, then you access health, you access wealth, you access all of the good things in life. You access the Lord. Like, this is the Lord's favor. So when you practicing moral things and you doing good onto other people and you really seeking the Lord love that. The Lord is gonna look at you and be like, yeah, he gonna be like, I can't wait to bless this person. Hold on, let me bless them right now. Let me just make sure that they able to keep on doing good onto the world and keep on making my people smile. So just do good things, serve the Lord, serve the Lord's people, and you're going to be in a really good position. And train your thoughts to only think about what you want in life, the positive things that you want in life and that you want to create in life, in the direction that you're trying to go in life. And I can promise you, the Lord is going to get right behind you, and he going to be pushing you like, yo, keep going. This is the direction I want you to go in. Keep going. So just seek the Lord in everything that you do. Seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all things will follow. And this is true. The word of God is not just a word. This is actually the law of the universe. So, when you abiding by the law of the universe, then things have to go your way. There's really no way around it. Because you're abiding by the law. Of course, we have a law of the United States. There's a law of other countries and things like that. But all of these laws were supposedly, geared behind, the law of the universe. But not, of course, that doesn't always happen because we have corruption and things like that in the government. So what we have to do as, followers of Christ, we have to make sure that we stay in the Bible. We got to make sure that we stay on our spiritual walk. Because if we not stand on our spiritual walk, then we giving the higher ups everything that they want to keep us down. So, and the Lord want to prosper everybody. The Lord want everybody to really just be prosperous and live their purpose. And our purpose is really what he planned for us to do when he put us here. Like, we are simply just manifestations of the Most High. The same way that we manifest things into our reality, this is a manifestation coming from the Most High, and we are manifestations of the Most High. So the Most High is working through us to create more manifestations on this earth. And when you think about things that way, then it makes a lot more sense as to how we're able to connect with God. And how my freaking phone done overheated. I was outside in the sun and my freaking phone done overheated. But yeah, I was pretty much done with everything that I need to talk about. If anybody want to add anything to the conversation, then definitely do so. We talking about why Lot's wife was turned into a pillar of salt, and it was because she was salty and she was bitter about leaving Sodom and Gomorrah, and seeing it. And maybe she was angry and she wanted to actually see Sodom and Gomorrah get destroyed. And that's another thing, because that bitterness that we hold, it makes us want to see other people suffer. So if we holding on to that bitterness and we want to see other people suffer, then we actually suffer. Like, whatever we want to see in somebody else is really what happens to us. So if you want to see somebody else be prosperous, then you will be prosperous. If you want to see other people suffer, then you will suffer. That's just how the consciousness works. Just because whatever you focus on is really what grows in your own world. So people that's out here like doing bad onto other people, then that's all they really doing is attracting that same exact type of energy onto themselves. So that's why we got to really be able to read the Bible and make sense of what's going on in the Bible when we're reading it, just because that is going to let us really understand life and how we supposed to move and how we supposed to walk in life. Especially if you reading the words of Jesus, then definitely follow that, and because he was put here to show us exactly how to walk on our spiritual walk and just walk in life in general, and how to be prosperous. Like Jesus ain't worried about nothing. Jesus ain't worried about money. He ain't worried about nothing. You ain't never hear about Jesus really being worried about money or nothing like that. But he was able to do all of these different things, and you ain't never heard of Jesus having no job. So it was like, you gotta, if you really think about it, it will make you think, how was Jesus able to survive? And it was because he had a connection to the Most High, and the Most High is always going to meet all of your needs as long as you on your purpose. You don't have to worry about money. You don't have to worry about, how it's going to happen. It's just, you just have to know that it's going to happen. You got to know that when you on your spiritual walk and when you walking with God in the right direction, that everything is just going to pan out for you. Like the doors that you want to open, they just gonna open at the perfect time when you need them to open. It might be the time that you least expect it, but they gonna open. So that's why it's really good to just stay firmly planted in the Word, firmly planted in in God and Christ, and just live a happy, positive life. And look to see that in other people. Like, get happy when you see other people happy. Get happy when you see other people succeeding and stuff like that. Because if you not, you holding that in your consciousness and you punishing yourself. So if you want to see other people be punished, you are truly punishing yourself. Because we are all connected, and that same thing that you want to see happen in somebody else's life, you are going to see it happen in your life. Even if it don't actually happen in their life, you are definitely going to see it happen in your life, just because that's the law. That's the law of the universe. There's no way around it. What you focus on, it grows, and you manifest it in your physical reality. So just lead a life of positivity, do good onto other people, look to see good things in other people, like look to see other people happy and stuff like that. Don't want to see other people suffer and things like that, because you are dooming yourself. The very second that you look at somebody else and you want to see them at a lower point than where they at, you are wishing that same exact thing on yourself. So if anybody got any questions about this or anything, go ahead, drop them things up in the comment section. I'm gonna upload this on YouTube and Facebook too. So wherever you viewing this at, just let me know what you feel about the discussion and add something in. How do y'all feel about Sodom and Gomorrah? Because I'm telling you, I was reading the Bible for the first time, like really sitting down to read the Bible for the first time, and I was just like this really for real happened. And I'm low-key convinced that it really did happen, because finding out that pillar of salt, that pillar that Lot's wife was turned into is still there. That one kind of hit me. I was just like, dang, that one kind of hit me like, dang, this might really be some true stuff right here. So, a lot of people had their debates about whether or not the Bible is 100% true. I go ahead and I just choose to look at it psychologically and not even really think about whether every single event that's in the Bible actually truly happened. But I'm pretty convinced that majority of the stuff it did actually happen, especially everything with Jesus. Like I'm more than convinced with that, because we can see proof of it just in everyday life, and the way that God blesses people. We can see proof of that. And just me being who I am, and the transformation that I've been able to make just in my walk with Christ and my spiritual walk is definitely apparent that everything in the Bible is definitely true, but you just have to look at it psychologically and spiritually. So, definitely ways that you can help yourself look at it more psychologically and spiritually is just by, basically you could study psychology, or you could just, read the Bible and then just go to the Lord and pray to the Lord about what you're reading, and ask him for, clarification, and the gift of discernment, so that what to actually take from it. And meditation will help you out a lot, because that's going to clear out all of that fog that's in your consciousness, And because we carry a lot that we don't realize, and just, practicing daily meditation is going to help you clear out all of that fog so that you can welcome in all of the good, positive energy into your consciousness. So y'all take care. I will be back on another one. Y'all stay blessed, stay prosperous, stay abundant, and stay prayed up. Take care.